Jeremy, it's good to see you again, man. I had no idea that you were in Cartersville. We're practically neighbors.
Yep,
That's a
it's a little bit of a long drive to work, but it's worth it. But I love living out in the area for sure, rural area. I was in Atlanta for so many years. I love moving up to the country.
I didn't realize you and I had that much in common because we obviously have a branch in Cartersville. We have a branch up in Dalton too. It so happens, and that's how I know you. And we were just kind of talking before we started recording that you have a place in Cartersville. So we just moved to Cartersville. We've been here now just about a year. Yeah, we absolutely love it up here.
Yeah, absolutely. I love living in the country. I love the rural, no traffic. You lose some conveniences from moving from the city, but it's all worth it.
Well, now we can mess around with bigger garden area. I wouldn't call it farming. We do raised beds. It's a little bit easier. Haven't done the chickens yet, but that's next. We've got a few things. Well, I didn't want to throw everything on my plate all at once because I came from Atlanta just like you. And for me to have some space now is it's just one of the best things. I know we're not doing an agricultural podcast, but if we were, I think you and I would have certainly a lot to talk about. And I know your boys would certainly have something to talk about as you kick them out into the farm to do some work, right?
That's correct, but I will warn you this: chicken math does not work. We started with six, and I think we're close to 100 chickens, and then we've got on top of that ducks, geese, and guineas, and it just keeps multiplying. And my wife treats them so well; they don't know they're chickens.
Oh my God, 100 chickens? How? Okay, if you don't mind me asking, how much space do you have?
We have them around a spring-fed pond, probably about 3 acre fenced-in area, so I don't have to water them anymore. But they go there, and then we have a pretty large coop that they go in at night. And we've got some livestock guardian dogs that live with them, so they're pretty well protected.
What, the Pyrenees, the Great Pyrenees?
Two Great Pyrenees, yes, a mother and a daughter. We had babies last year, and we kept the daughter, the youngest. We let our children pick one to keep, so and we got rid of the rest. They're
Now I know
big
exactly
dogs.
who to go to. I'm building my Rolodex of, the oh crap, something's gone wrong. Who do I call? Someone who's already done it before. So good, Jeremy, just what you wanted. Another hopeless neighbor.
It's fun. It's fun, but I'm just warning you now. The chicken math. If your wife starts with a few, you're going to have a lot.
I think I've got a pretty good area for them. A pretty good area. There is a little bit of a wetland area too, so hopefully we can get them watered. All right, so you're driving from Cartersville to Dalton, but the bigger question is how does a Marine get into being the president of Value Carpets up in Dalton, the carpet capital of the world? How does that happen?
Right. Good question. Never thought I would be where I'm at today. Went to the military after high school, just wanting to live the American dream, and that was very good, very rewarding. A lot of leadership qualities, and just a lot of good things come out of that. And got a job with United Parcel Service. Started out working the docks, moved up to several positions inside. Then I went to driver, then management positions, and then ultimately managing 5 operations, northwest corner of Georgia, basically handling all of the delivery operations for UPS. And
That's a
then
huge operation. For those people who don't know, UPS is headquartered in Atlanta. So were you working in off of Abernathy?
no, no, I was in charge of the delivery operations. So there was 5 big delivery operations from Roswell, Marietta, Ackworth, Rome, and Dalton that services the basically the northwest quadrant of the state. And go back and forth between managing all those facilities. And what was neat was after 21 years, I never thought I would leave there. And I went to a meeting representing UPS with Mohawk Industries, at the time, a very large customer for the Southeast for UPS. And the boardroom kind of flipped the script on me and
Did they recruit you?
Yes, they offered me a pretty neat job.
That's flattering. I mean, that's pretty amazing. So, I mean, some people, and you might be one of these, they've never actually had to look for a job. It's like they just keep coming to them. So that's a great story.
Well, we like to say that God opens doors, and He sure did. But wasn't looking for a job. Was doing very well with UPS, and um, at first I told the vice president that offered me the job. I said, "No, I don't know anything about carpet." I said, "I'm a logistics and efficiency expert. I don't know carpet." And he said, "No, no, you're not hearing me, son." With kind of a condescending
He
attitude,
called you son.
and he said, we need you to take our distribution buildings, all of our inside operations, and do what UPS does and make them efficient, make them safe, improve our service. And 2 months later, I ended up coming on board as the director of logistics operations for Mohawk Industries, responsible for all the distribution inside four walls operations. And that was a very neat chapter of my life as well. Did that for 6 years and made a lot of great acquaintances with some good people. We made a lot of good stride. The CEO was very happy with our results, most importantly, safety and service. And then,
Oh, safety is huge. So we're in I mean, we do, as you know, staffing for manufacturers, and it just seems like safety is absolutely, it's number one, number two, number three.
yeah, and I'll take a second to share something on that. When I was tasked with basically helping improve the operations, I wasn't given any goals. I was just given here's all the buildings, the addresses, and the senior manager contact information. Go to work. That was my onboarding, and it was pretty neat. And
Go figure it out.
basically spent 2 or 3 weeks observing, asking tons of questions, and quickly noticed, basically from using my past training, that to move the numbers and to motivate the team, we all got to be focused together and we all got to be communicating on the same level. So I went through the safety aspect, focusing on people first. And once the employees saw that we cared about them and we taught them their value, no matter what position in the company, we taught them their value to the company and the mission of the company and the mission of distribution, that part of the supply chain for Mohawk. Once they understood their personal job, their position and their value, and then that we appreciated that, then they started caring about our values and our goals for the company, and we started making strides and improvements pretty quickly, and started building some very good teams where we took service to all time levels, safety. We eliminated recordable injuries. Liberty Mutual was handing out awards, and in basically 18 to 24 months later, because it does take a while to build a big safety foundation and start over. But we did that as a focus point. And with that focus, I think is what brought on all the rest of the great results that we had.
Yeah, that's interesting. You showed the human side of, just caring for people, very, very real. I've been reading a lot of new articles that are coming over X or Twitter. Twitter's taken off, with the recent purchase from Elon Musk. Whatever you think about that, I will say the amount of content that's being posted out there now is phenomenal. And there's a lot being said about like what are employees looking for? And one of the top ones is just that they feel like they're listened to and they're cared for. And
Yes.
you can't fake that. It's you either because look, if they realize if you're just, you know, bullshitting them, honestly, they see immediately. And if you genuinely put in programs that benefit them, that are helping them, I can't tell you how much time we spend walking the floor of all of our clients, doing safety walks, making sure that the four M's are in place at all times. And you just have to, sometimes you have to be that squeaky wheel, and point things out to that client that, hey, we need to fix this because this is not safe. And the employees are kind of like, hey, that's right. This is not safe. Thank you for, fixing this problem. So so how did you make that final transition then from Mohawk into Value Carpets? Because I really want to learn a little bit more about specifically what you're doing there. I do have some questions about this industry because for those who don't know, Dalton in North Georgia literally is the carpet capital of the world, and I want to try to figure out why that is. But before we do that, how did you make this final leap out of Mohawk?
So enjoyed the 6 year journey with Mohawk as the director, making great changes. And again, I guess I was recruited. So my family, I never grew up in this family business, but my family established Value Carpets Incorporated Manufacturing Corporation in 1975 and started with outdoor grass residential market, and then moved on to marine carpet and various other styles and colors, and been very successful. Kind of a niche. The big three mills, Mohawk, Shaw, Engineer Floors, they do a tiny bit of outdoor. So the family, basically, my great uncle started the company in 75. He retired, left it to his two sons, and one was president and retired after 32 years in 2015. And the younger son took over in 2015, and in 22 wanted to retire. And they looked around the family and they didn't have children to leave it to. So they reached out to me and said, look, it's kind of weird. You've got a neat history from the military and the UPS, and then now the flooring industry at Mohawk. We think you've been trained and you're prepared. We're prepared to turn this over to you, and we'd like to let you cash out of the corporate life and buy the entire company. Of course, I laughed and said, "Oh, that's just amazing. That's a big deal. I don't know if I could do that." And they said, "No, we'll help you," and made me a great offer. And I ended up buying everything, so I completely owned the company. And I looked at it, beforehand, thinking, there's a void in the marketplace for this flooring, and it's a niche. So the economy doesn't affect it as drastic as it does the other big three. So there's opportunity here because the family had it for a long time, and they've done a good job with it. But I saw the opportunity for growth, and that's where we're at now. And I'm almost 2 years in, and it's been a great ride. And we have definitely been growing from adding sales reps to adding products and styles and different products. It's exciting to see the new customers come on board and just all the growth that we could do. So now we're increase our manufacturing capability, increase our serviceability, the entire team, the sales teams, and it's exciting time, very exciting.
Yeah, it is. It just feels like there's a new wave of optimism, at least for manufacturers. I feel like there's there's hope. That we can bring a lot of that, keep a lot of that here. So you said you don't think some of your niche areas are that affected by the economy. So I guess the first question is: are you guys B2B or B2C or both?
Being a manufacturer, we're wholesale. We sell to dealers and distributors across the country, and we have a few overseas. No, because when people stop building new houses, they look at their current house and they start doing improvements. And the I have what I have seen is a lot of people now are doing a lot more entertaining outside. So this perfect place for our products, decks and patios, carports, those things. And really, this our products was very popular in the 70s, and everybody had those products. But now there was a generation, I think, that lost some of that, but now they're getting some of that back and seeing the capabilities of our outdoor flooring that's basically indestructible. You can't stain it, you can't hurt it. It lasts for years in the sun and even by the pool. And then of course our boat RV flooring industry is just starting to boom as well, and it's very exciting.
Yeah, it does seem like you're kind of hitting on a couple of the benefits. I hate to say benefit of the nonsense that we kind of came out of. It wasn't nonsense for many people, but it feels like that because so many businesses and things were kind of shut down, and everyone kind of had to look in at doing self improvement, home improvement, remodeling. Right? You're talking about we can't go out and buy anything, so we might as well just like improve what we have. Which of those areas are you most excited about of the niche areas?
I think we've grown pretty good over the last 2 years overall with touching more states. We have more reps in most of the states, but we've done some specialty items. My I have three boys and they're all into baseball, and so I looked at into that area and what can we do with more turf,
Like artificial turf for
more,
sports?
yes, more artificial turf, a lot of neat things for sports, batting cages, all the accessories that go with the batting cages, with the hitting mats and the different mats and pitchers mounds that we could manufacture using our products. We've been doing some of that for a 2025 launch as far as adding additional products to our portfolio, because we have such a great network of dealers and customers that have been with us for they're on their generations. I mean, I'm technically third generation owner of this company, and we talk and the sales teams talk with people that have been purchasing from us for generations, and we're basically adding more, so we're that go-to for anything outdoors. Contact us, and then we'll see if we can help you with it and what we've got. And the beauty of being privately held, we do a lot of custom. We have a lot of requests. We do a ton of custom. We've done some expos. We've gotten some very large customers across the country, very large expo companies that are doing asking us to do some neat stuff, and it's exciting to be part of some of those with some big name brands.
Well, as I think about the question I asked, because you are a manufacturer and you're distributing, it's a lot of it obviously is kind of up to your distributors in terms of, and retailers, where are they going to be selling, where are the needs. So you're meeting the needs and you can sell to one distributor and they can handle, all your product lines. I had seen a bit of a slowdown in boating. My brother-in-law was the general manager over at Tommy's. You familiar with Tommy's? Tommy's was a pretty big regional player. Unfortunately, they just went under. Long story, and they just closed the most closest retail outlet they had, which is in Chattanooga, and they were doing huge liquidations. And they were just saying there were some problems in the boating space. So that's why I was kind of curious as to know which of your product lines do you think was going to see the most, kind of uptick. But if you're going through distributors, it's really kind of up to them, kind of where they want to push it. I want to get your take on just Dalton. I touched on this earlier, but that it's the carpet capital of the world. What is it about Dalton that has made it so special, and that it doesn't seem like there's any other place in America that even attempts to compete at this level with the manufacturing?
You're absolutely correct. And as I was 2 years ago, I had that same question as I was learning this business. And coming from Mohawk, I kind of had a pretty good understanding. But when I came doing this for myself and realizing I'm sourcing raw material from all over the place, and preferably domestic, but and then there's other work that we do with our company. I realize this is about relationships, and the relationships are long standing. Coming into this, we've had relationships for, again, generations of other vendors and suppliers, and there's a lot of that where we're a lot of the smaller are depending on each other, from raw material suppliers to some contract services to sales, dealers and retails. They're depending on each other, and we see that. And it's the trust there involved, and those relationships have kept basically another country or cheaper labor or cheaper anything trying to come in and take over and move the carpet capital from Dalton. And still a lot of that. There's a lot of families involved. It's basically looking out for each other. And you hear people say, "Well, I'm not going to go to Walmart. I'm going to go to Ace Hardware. I'm not going to go to Home Depot. I'm going to go to Ace Hardware because I like those people. They're good people. They're locally owned, and
Right.
so forth." And then they know me by name, or they know what we buy, and they make it easy. So yeah, Amazon has a great model making it easy and convenient for the customers. But once you have relationships with people that you're working with and dealing with and purchasing and selling, that just makes it that much easier.
Yeah.
So
So like you're just saying basically the community is so well interconnected. They know each other that the trust level has gone up, obviously, that they just don't have interest in forming new relationships with
and
other vendors and suppliers.
and with that note, it's just like tenure at a tenured employee at any company is going to be one of your best employees. 95% of our employees want to do a great job every day. A tenured employee is going to do not only a great job, they're going to do a quality job. And that quality is what gets you the next order. You're going to make a sale, but continuing providing quality, that's going to get you your next orders in the future. And that's a big deal when you've got so many people working together. You don't want to hurt somebody else or partners with poor quality. You're going to stand behind your products, and that's a big deal from us. We're a supplier to one of the largest sporting goods stores there is, and we've been there for over 40 years, and it's because of quality.
What is your take on the the advent of AI in terms of how it could change the manufacturing future for for of course the carpet manufacturing and the processes, and because it's a old business, carpeting, and at times I know there's some pretty manual processes. What's your take on the future of the changes that you think could happen as a result of AI and these new robotics?
I think that'll take a little bit longer time than just an AI person doing data processing and things inside offices. When it comes to the manufacturing, some of those are trained eyes, trained feels. There's a lot of eyeballing and feeling and knowledge there, that's going to take AI some time to grasp, I believe, to do some of the things. You're still going to have a lot of humans doing those things, and that's definitely appreciative. There's a ton of moving parts in these machines, and the humans aren't perfect, but the ones that are tenured, they're gonna just stay on it, take care of it, and I think it's just going to take time for AI to be able to do something in some of these more critical manufacturing positions.
Yeah. Well, that's good. That probably gives people a little more job security because I mean, I think people are kind of naturally curious, like, could this job be taken over? If I get a offer from another company to do a different type of work, should I consider it for the long term? And that's a kind of a natural, fear that people have is, will they be replaced?
Yes, but the it goes back to my original training at UPS. Right out of college, I was a part-time dock supervisor. One of the older managers came to me and said, "What's your job here, son?" And of course, I said, "Oh, to make your numbers, sir." And then he goes, "No, wrong answer." I said, "What's?" And I said, "Okay, to be safe." He said, "No, wrong answer." He said, "Your job is to work yourself out of a job. Train your team so they can do it without you, and then we'll move you over and up." And that mentality has made me very successful. And that mentality, people that have that are not held back. They're going to be recognized by their leadership, and they will be put in key positions, and and they'll be moving over to help or and improve operations, and they'll move up. And I think that's the best attitude for people to have, in that respect.
So, how do you instill that kind of forward thinking kind of leadership, all the way down? I mean, it seems like that's a little easier. Like if you're in a management role or director or VP, I imagine it's a little more challenging, if you're a frontline worker. So, how do you adapt that for the hourly?
Well, definitely it's another phrase is MBWA, managed by walking around. You touched on it earlier. You've got to be on the floor, and I think the good coaches and something I've always lived by is there's no such thing as a bad team. It's a bad coach. I've proved that in my career, taking over most help needed operations and bringing them to the number one of the scoreboards, and several operations for UPS. I mean, even for Mohawk, and we're improving this place as well. So I think it's about the coaching, and people 95% of them want to do a great job, and it's our job to coach them to get to that level and the understanding. And when everyone's focusing on the same thing, it's just like when NASA wanted to put somebody on the moon. The guy that swept the floors, his job was not, his title wasn't janitor, his job was put a man on the moon. It's that same kind of mentality.
So, if you're a first time manager listening to this and you want to get some wisdom, Jeremy, what would you say to someone in this, management by walking around? What are some areas that this, new manager should be looking for? Are there some tells? I know that's kind of drawing on a lot of subjective aspects of kind of where you are, but let's just assume though it's a manufacturing environment and you're a new manager and you're doing a walk around.
Well, you definitely need to know your people, and that needs to be the first and foremost. And then you got to understand accountability, and accountability is not to be negative, but it's about how do you clearly establish accountability, and the effective steps of training, and doing it the right way. You've got to basically, if you're a new manager, you've got to go for yourself, validate all those things with all your people. And once you get there, you'll know where your areas of focus need to be.
All right, I just want to drill down on one of those. And you said accountability. So, how do you create a sense of accountability with a team member?
So yeah, good question. It's something that a lot of rookie supervisors kind of shy away from because they don't want to think it's me against them or us against them, and it's not, or they think it's stressful. Actually, if you do it the right way, it's not stressful. Example, you're going to train someone to do a task, or to perform a certain method, instruction, or procedure. You explain it to them, then you have them explain it back. Then that's your first few steps. And once you confirm they understand it, okay, then you demonstrate the job. Then you have them demonstrate it back. And while they demonstrate it back, you're going to provide commentary and drill with them until they're perfect, and get the feedback from them, and then make sure you're asking questions. So then you demonstrate again, and then they demonstrate it back. Once they demonstrate and can do the job, that's when you look them in the eye and go, "Great job! You did a great job. You know how to do this, right?" And you get them to say, "Yes, I know how to do this." Okay, well then now you know how to do the job. Here's the expectation. I need you to do this many pieces per hour. I need you to do this method exactly like this all the time in this amount of time, for example. And make sure that's done, and you measure that, and then you document it, or you verbally make sure they understand that. Okay, you got it, and you're high five, and it's all positive. It's a great, because you're training them. That's the way to train. But once they realize that, then you look at them and go, "This is what we expect. This is part of the job, and do this all the time, and everything's going to be great. If you ever need help, let me know." But you put the ownership on the employee, and then it's not about you're just making them do the job. No, you're the management person. That's part of your job. You're managing, but you make them have personal ownership, and when they have that, they're going to be fine. They're going to do the job, and then there's only one reason. Basically, it makes it simple, stress free. There's two reasons that we have an error. They don't know how to do the job, or they don't want to do the job. They made a choice. Our job as management is to get it to the point to where the employee has to make a choice. Then you deal with the employee on the personal level when they're continue to make the wrong choices. There's consequences, or there's recognition for positives.
It sounds pretty black and white, pretty straightforward when you break it down as simply as that.
But then a good management person has clear conversations, clear expectations, and with the employee, and the employee is, after going through these exercises, they're going to look at you and agree and go, okay, I got it. I'm good to go. And everything's going to be great. It is that simple. And then the management person can go home and not worry about stress or someone doesn't like them. It's not about like them. It's about, did they do their job or not?
Yeah, I really like that you started off with very, a verbal instruction and then get it back verbally. Okay. Because people do have filters and things don't always make it in the way you think it is. So I love that repeat it back, and then you show them and then they show it back. And you're creating these habits, this mental memory, this expectation of, oh, this is it. I know I can do it. It's so important because people truly just want to know that they can be successful and there's some structure. Because at the end of the day, people really do want to do right and make the right choices. Now, of course, like you say, there are consequences. So you go through this entire process and they continue to make the wrong choice, then that does kind of reflect back on the manager in the sense of, okay, well, now you have a choice. Do you replace this person? Or can we retrain them? Because then it goes back into, have I made the right hiring decision?
Exactly. And that's the thing too. I'll example turnover at Mohawk. We were wanting to eliminate, turnover, improve our turnover. So I said, well, every management person that's responsible for each shift will do the interviews. I don't want an HR person doing the interview. I want the manager that's responsible for the shift, possibly a supervisor, to do the interview. And that way there's some accountability there too. You're bringing on the person that the management person decided to bring them
Right.
on, take them and walk them through and let them see the job, talk to an employee that's doing the job, of course, a good positive employee that's doing the job, doing it correctly. And that's where it's got to start. But then you get ownership in the management team that brought them on, because then it's their baby. They're going to have to help make them successful and then celebrate it. Because like you said, 95% want to do a good job. Maybe it's probably more than that. But
Probably more. Most
everybody,
people do.
yeah, everybody wants to be on the winning team. So that's the management's job, to create that winning team atmosphere.
The other benefit of making the frontline managers or the supervisors be at least part of the interview process, is they get to train themselves on what the marketplace is.
Yes.
That is so important because you can really be divorced from, okay, this is what you think a worker should be, and then when you see maybe the available workforce, you realize, okay, we have some challenges here, or I need to readjust how I'm training. It just, I know we can't get into specifics here because we're talking about individuals, but if you're a manufacturer, really anyone, and you've got frontline workers, I could not agree with you more. When you get your hands dirty and understand this is the people that are walking in to apply for our jobs, it's training your eye to the talent and the abilities that they have, and they can't point a finger back at HR and blame someone else.
Absolutely.
That puts the accountability back on them, which is exactly what you want them to do to the worker. I think it's a great loop.
Absolutely agree.
It's a great loop. So for folks who want to figure out more about how to maybe interact with Value Carpets, do you guys have do you guys have social channels? What's your what's the best way for people to kind of connect with you guys, find out more about your products? Maybe they want to become a a dealer or a distributor, what's the best way?
Sure. We don't do anything except LinkedIn. We have a page there to take some time every now and then to display some products. But our website would be the best. Our website has a form where new dealers can come on board, fill out the form, and then customer service and the sales team, will reach out to them and bring them on board as a new dealer. There's a process involved with that, but
Of course.
we do have people that are just general public looking at our website thinking they could purchase something, and they'll fill out a form on there and send us information, and of course we'll take that information and then find out what zip code they're in. Then we'll find the nearest dealer and we'll send that to the dealer as a sales lead, so hopefully to help them as well.
Yeah, that's right. What's the website?
It's valuecarpetsinc.com.
As we start wrapping up, I started thinking of a bunch of other questions I wanted to ask you, because you're dealing with dealers and distributors, and it's really important that they know how to sell, that they know how to market. And I was thinking that could be on maybe another episode that you and I could do, because it's a very real situation, a real challenge when your sales are dependent upon the success of your dealers and your distributors. That could be a nice little follow-up for us.
Absolutely agree. I've got a lot of good things to say about that.
I bet you do. Jeremy, it is great to finally get your wisdom kind of out on the airwaves and not stuck behind a phone call with me as we discuss business. I'm glad you got a chance to get it out there for everybody.
Yep, I enjoyed it. Thank you.
Absolutely. We'll see you next time.
All right. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Well, I was going to chat with him afterwards, but he is gone.